In this video, we're going to look at simplifying fractions. Now, for a fraction to be in simplified form, the numerator and the denominator cannot both be divisible by the same number. If they are, you must divide each by that number to reduce the fraction into simplified form. So I have two identical circles here, and in the first circle, I have it divided into 4 parts, and in the second circle, I have divided into 8 parts. Now, I'm going to shade a different region in each one. So you can see in this first circle that I have shaded 3 out of the 4 possible, and in this second circle, I've shaded 6 out of a possible 8. However, if you look at the shaded region in each one, you can see that they are the same amount of space that has been shaded. So therefore, I know that this 6 over 8 is going to be equal to that 3 over 4, right? I can see that they have the same amount of area. And so now let's look at that. And how do we do this? By simplifying fractions. So here's my first example of 6 over 8. Now, I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can simplify fractions, and then that way you can pick which method you feel most comfortable with. So the simplest way is probably to say, hey, 6 and 8 are both divisible by 2, and then 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. The other way that you could do it is you could write that 6 was 2 times 3 and 8 is 2 times 4. And then we can see that those 2's, that they will divide to a 1 and you will be left with 3/4. Looking at another example, 4 over 20. 4 and 20 are each divisible by 4. 4 divided by 4 in the numerator is going to be a 1, and 20 divided by 4 in the denominator is a 5. If I were to write this in factored form, I could just leave 4 as the 4, but I can write 20 as 4 multiplied by 5, and then when I look and do the division, 4 divided by 4 is a 1. Because there's nothing left in that numerator, I am going to put the 1 there that they divide to, just so that I don't forget to put it there. And there's my final answer of 1 over 5. If you don't happen to see that 4 and 20 were both divisible by 4, but you did see that both were divisible by 2, we can do the simplifying in a few steps. So we could start off by writing that each of them was divisible by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, 20 divided by 2 is 10, and then, oh, I see that they're divisible by 2 again. I can divide each by 2, and then I still arrive at my same simplified answer of 1 over 5. Just looking at a few more examples here. So 15 over 25, they both end in a 5, so therefore I know that these are each divisible by 5. 15 divided by 5 is going to be 3, and 25 divided by 5 in the denominator is 5. Or we could write it in factored form and say that 15 is 5 times 3, 25 is 5 times 5. The 5 in the numerator and the 5 in the denominator divide to 1, and I'm left with 3 over 5. 15 and 24, they are both divisible by 3. So 15 divided by 3 is going to be 5. 24 divided by 3 is going to be 8. Or I can write it in factored form. 15 is 3 times 5. 24 is 3 times 8. Those 3's will divide to 1. And there I'm left with my reduced fraction of 5 over 8. And finally, one more. If we look at 28 and 49, they are both divisible by a 7. And so 28 divided by 7 is a 4. 49 divided by 7 is a 7. And if we look at it by factoring, I can write 28 as 4 multiplied by 7. And I can write 49 as 7 multiplied by 7. And I can see that those 7s divide to 1. And I'm left with 4 divided by 7.